Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I am going to be reviewing Hokusai's Mount Fuji, The Complete Views in Color. This book was actually in the storage section of my library, presumably because not enough people were checking it out, which is a shame because this is a gem of a book. I had a fantastic time looking through this and I'm going to talk about it with you today. So the title of the book and the subtitle, Hokusai's Mount Fuji, The Complete Views in Color, is quite literally what this book is. So Hokusai, a Japanese print master from the 1830s, put out a series called 36 Views of Mount Fuji, which actually wasn't 36 prints. There were more of them done, presumably because it was quite popular. And these prints have become quite famous. Now, even if you think, I don't know this name, I don't know anything about this man, why should I be interested? Do you know this print? Yes, you do, because this is quite a popular print, one of the most recognizable art pieces in the world, and this is part of Hokusai's 36 Views of Mount Fuji. So this was part of a series that he did featuring Mount Fuji, the sacred mountain in Japan, in a variety of different shots and compositions at various times of day over a period of time. And as mentioned, there was somewhere in the 40s of these prints due to a secondary run, so we have a wide number of prints to go through. The book has a main focus on the art. So there is a few pages at the very beginning where we get some text to provide the background of these prints, but we're not going deep, we're not going academic, it is just to familiarize yourself with it. And then we get into the main body of the work. The setup is on one page, you have the number, and the author talks in the beginning about how there's no real official set order to put these prints in, but he does reference someone's order who they are using to put the prints in. So there's the order number or the number here, and then we have the title translated in English, but also in Japanese over here. And then you do have some text here to explain what you're looking at, because the other side is the print. And occasionally when you flip the page, there's a zoomed in view. It's not on this one, but there are some that have zoomed in views of a print. So here's one on page 30 where we have the usual setup, text, information, number, the print. And then if you flip the page, the next full 2 pages are devoted to a detailed view of the print. This setup is my preferred way of going through these sort of things. Not the only preferred way, but one that I really like, because I am not someone who has studied art formally. I'm not someone who is very well versed in art. So I like to be told exactly on this page what some things are that I should be looking for, what some things are that I should know about this print, some of the cultural context to look at. And the print has been reproduced big enough to enjoy and look at all of the things that I want to look at in the print. And I can spend as much time as I need to on each one of these. The text doesn't get overwhelming, you're not bogged down in the detail, but you're able to enjoy and better appreciate the print that you're looking at. I feel like it was the perfect ratio of text to print. Now there's a time and a place for a detailed analysis of the prints, and that's a whole separate section. But for a book like this, which is just a reproduction of the prints from the series, the minimal text that pairs with the prints is the perfect combination that worked for me. So the prints are beautiful. We can say that Hokusai is a master, but there were some that I liked that just stood above the rest for me. And I wanted to go through those and just kind of show you the ones that spoke to me the most and that I enjoyed. Obviously, I've already shown you number 1. There's a reason this is well known. The second one that also is well known, maybe slightly less well known, is this red Fuji one. I do have to say that I've seen a lot of these in other pieces of works, but this one put together in one collection makes it really nice to view. And I will tell you the number, so if you have this book, you can follow along. The next is on page 3. I do like this one just because it shows that there can be variations on a print. So here's like variation 1 we see here, but there's also a second variation called 3A on the next page, which I like. The next is print 14. You have these beautiful cranes. The beginning of the book talks about how this blue that we see a lot in these prints is, this one is called well, let me finish my thought. The blue was a recent import and was getting quite popular, and it was used quite a bit, so that's why you see this reoccurrence of blue, which was superior to the blue that was being used before in the sense that it lasted longer and it didn't fade to brown like previous blues that were being used in the print, Japanese prints were being used. And this was imported from, I believe, Holland. This print is called The Fields of Umezawa Hamlet in Sagami Province. In English. I will not even attempt the Japanese because I do not know Japanese. Something that the authors also talk about is the use of substance versus void, which they seem to indicate belong to the Chinese artistic tradition. Obviously the Japanese art tradition and Chinese art tradition are separate, but there are some related concepts between them. And the substance versus void is something that I have heard of before, but I would like to explore more in depth. So I need to find a book on that, but the author does mention that in several of these prints and references the substance versus void balance that is sometimes found. And Hokusai was blending in these works traditional Japanese prints, also utilizing those concepts like substance versus void, but also utilizing some Western themes that were coming into the country at the time, like perspective. Here's another one. This is one of my favorites. I just love the color of this one. This is number 17, Lake Suwa in Shinano Province. So again, this one. Next is page 20, Ushibori in Hitachi Province. I like how you can feel how cool this one is and how everything is still except for this individual pouring water, and we see some cranes that have taken off in flight. So yes, or herons taking off in flight, I should say. I like the stillness conveyed in this one. Next is number 24, Morning Snow at Koishikawa. I find that I like the prints that involve snow a lot. Usually when I review these collections, the one with snow comes up to the top each time. So the snow ones get to me. Maybe it's because I live in a place with snow and I like it. So I like it sometimes. I don't like driving in snow, I will say that. But people in this time when these prints are being made did not have to drive automobiles in snow. The next one is 29. Travelers admiring Mount Fuji from a tea house at Yoshida on the Tokaido Road. I have seen this print before. As mentioned, I've seen some of these prints before, and if they were a favorite in a previous collection, they're of course still a favorite now. None of these prints are bad. Obviously, Hokusai is a master, but some of them just appeal to me more than others, and you will have your own favorites. And if you have this book, please let me know which of these you think are your favorites, which ones you like. I like discussing that with other people. Next is 34. Which is Hakone Lake in Sagami Province. This one, the author notes, is unique because it's almost completely devoid of human interaction. Well, Hokusai had an interest in humans and their day-to-day life. He features also a lot of the common people, so farmers, housewives, fishermen, people just going about their day-to-day life. And this one is unique because it doesn't feature that. The only presence of life that we see, human life I should say, there's plenty of life, are these blue tiled temples or shrines. Next up is 35. This one was unique. I really like this one. Mount Fuji reflected in the lake at Nisaka in Kai Province. So this one, we see Mount Fuji, who is present in all of these pieces, reflected in the lake down here, which I really liked. So all of these, again, are setting Mount Fuji in different perspectives, different locations. 38 is the next one I wanted to look at, Mount Fuji viewed from the Senju Pleasure Quarter, and this one shows an official entering the city, but I like here actually the sense of autumn that is conveyed, and the author does talk about that in the little essay that goes with it. You can kind of feel this piece, and I really liked that. Particularly the background, this calm background, and the two women who are working in the fields who are sitting here, as opposed to the action that's going on up here in the foreground of this piece. Next is page 40, or not page, print 41. This is Dawn at Isawa in Kai Province. I find that also in these prints, I really like prints that take place at dawn or dusk that kind of play with that light that occurs at that time of day. So this is that print. And finally, 46, which is the final print in the series, a group of mountain climbers. So this is another one that takes place at dawn and has that pink view. It actually is also, the author notes, the only one that doesn't include the top, the crown of Mount Fuji in the view. But I like the dawn coloring in this one, and I thought, again, it's unique that Mount Fuji's crown and its distinctive shape, which is present in all the other pieces, is not present in that one. This is a gem of a book. It's just the collection of the prints with enough commentary to allow you to enjoy it. But despite its simple nature, I think it's a book that you could go to again and again and look at all those prints again and again and continue to enjoy them. If you have read this book, have any thoughts or comments on these prints that you want to share, please put them in the comment section down below. I love to receive them. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.